Have you ever spent 30 minutes deciding what to watch on Netflix, only to give up and watch nothing? Or stared at your phone, rewriting the same text over and over before deciding not to send it at all? Maybe you've delayed applying for a job, starting a business, or ending a relationship, not because you didn't know what you wanted, but because every choice seemed to come with 1,000 possible consequences. Most people think indecisiveness is laziness. Others assume it's fear. But psychology tells a very different story. In fact, some of the smartest people struggle with decisions the most, not because they're less capable, but because their minds are constantly running simulations of every possible future. Today, you'll discover why intelligent minds often become trapped in endless analysis, why your brain mistakes thinking for progress, and the simple psychological shift that finally breaks the cycle. Because once you understand what's happening inside your mind, you'll never look at your own indecision the same way again. Part 1. Your brain wasn't built for this. Imagine living thousands of years ago. Your biggest decisions were simple. Should you hunt today? Should you cross the river? Can you trust the stranger approaching your tribe? Most decisions had immediate answers. Your brain evolved for survival, not for choosing between hundreds of careers, thousands of products, or endless opportunities. Fast forward to today. Before breakfast, you've already made dozens of decisions. What to wear, what to eat, which notifications deserve your attention, which messages to answer, which videos to watch. Every decision quietly consumes mental energy. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. The more decisions you make, the harder the next one becomes. But for highly analytical people, something else happens. Their brain doesn't stop after finding one good option. It keeps searching. Because what if there's a better one? Part 2. Why smart people get stuck. Imagine you're choosing between two jobs. Most people compare the salaries, the location, and make a decision. But an analytical mind doesn't stop there. It starts asking questions. What if the other company grows faster? What if I regret leaving? What if this changes my entire future? What if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life? Within seconds, one decision becomes 50 imaginary futures. Your brain begins treating possibilities as realities. Every option feels equally important. And suddenly, doing nothing feels safer than choosing wrong. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis. The irony is almost painful. The same intelligence that helps you solve complex problems can become the very thing preventing you from solving your own. Part 3. The trap of the perfect decision. There's another reason intelligent people hesitate. They secretly believe, somewhere, there is a perfect answer. If they just think a little longer, research a little more, watch one more video, everything will become clear. But here's what psychology has discovered. Perfection is one of the biggest enemies of action. Because every time new information appears, your brain resets the decision. It's like trying to hit a target. That keeps moving farther away. You tell yourself you're being responsible. But often, you're simply delaying uncertainty. The uncomfortable truth is this. No amount of thinking can guarantee the future. Every successful entrepreneur, every athlete, every scientist, eventually reached a point where thinking had to stop, and action had to begin. Part 4. Why your brain won't let go. Have you ever noticed? The decisions you haven't made keep coming back into your mind. While driving, while eating, even lying awake at night. That's because your brain hates unfinished business. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Incomplete tasks stay active in your memory. Your mind keeps reopening them, searching for closure. That's why people who constantly postpone decisions often feel mentally exhausted. Not because they're doing too much, but because their brain never gets permission to stop thinking. The decision is never finished, so the mental loop never ends. Part 5. The surprising secret of decisive people. Here's something surprising. Decisive people aren't always more confident. They're simply more comfortable with uncertainty. They understand something most overthinkers don't. There is no perfect choice, only choices, and what you do after making them. Research has shown that people often become happier after committing to a decision, not because they chose perfectly, but because commitment allows the brain to stop searching. Instead of asking, "What if?" they begin asking, "How can I make this work?" That's where growth begins, not in endless thinking, but in moving forward. If you've recognized yourself throughout this video, you're not alone. Your mind isn't broken. It's trying to protect you from making mistakes. The problem is, life rewards movement more than certainty. The smartest people aren't the ones who always make the perfect decision. They're the ones who understand that progress almost always comes before confidence, because every path teaches you something, but standing still teaches you nothing. If you enjoyed this video and want to understand the hidden psychology behind your thoughts, emotions, and behavior, subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes, the most important thing you'll ever understand is yourself.